Hi guys, it's Mrs. Wetler. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you today, but I did want to make sure that I explained the expectations for quarter 4 book clubs. Now that you have your book and you know what you're reading, you're going to need to know a couple of things so that you will be able to follow along with the unit. So, the first thing that I want you to pay attention to is the document here, quarter 4 book clubs, digital notebook. What you are going to be responsible for throughout the reading of your novel is the tracking of a few important elements. As you read, you're going to track the behavior of a character, and I want you to note what this shows us about the character. Think back to characterization and what we know about what makes a character who they are, their thoughts, their actions, their effects on others, what they look like. Keep all of that in consideration, and you are going to track this character and what they are like throughout the novel. Second thing you're going to track, you're going to select important passages or any key pieces of dialogue that you felt were strong. If a character says something that seems like it's going to be important, write it down. If it's something that happens, there's a passage that is important, something you think you want to make sure that you remember, I'm going to encourage you also to write it down. Making a timeline of the important events. Obviously, not everything in the book is vital. There are certain main events, there are certain supporting events. I want you to keep a loose timeline of what is going on. So if you had to summarize the text, you could quickly look at your timeline and you could pick out those main events that were key to the story. And then finally, we know in narrative and in fiction, there's always a conflict. There's typically a main conflict, but there could be some other smaller ones as well. So you're going to keep track of the problems or the issues or the things that come up while the story is happening. And you're also going to make note of how the characters respond to those problems. All right, so those are your 4 main things that you are going to be keeping track of as you read. For characters, the slides that are contained here in your notebook look like this. It asks you to note the character's name, the behavior, what are they doing, and then also explain what does this show us about that particular character. And there are a number of different slides, blank templates there for you. You're welcome to duplicate the slide and make more if you need more. For the important passages, there are blank slides with this template on it where you are going to copy from the text directly the passage or the dialogue, what the character said. You're going to place that in quote marks because we're copying it from the text. You're going to include the page number and then explain why you selected that particular piece of text. Like the others, there are several different slides available for this, and you may add slides as needed. Timeline for your list of important events. Every time you read, you should be adding to these different categories. On the timeline template, it gives you a spot for the page number, what was the important event, and why you felt it was significant. And for the conflict, the problems or the issues that are occurring, you're going to explain what is the problem, what is the conflict. You're going to explain how does the character respond, like what do they do about the problem, how do they react to the problem. And you'll notice here there is a link to type of conflict. Okay, this links you to a document that will help you to identify the kind of conflict that is happening in the story. This is new. This is not something that we have done before, but there is a document here all about conflict in literature, and it talks about man versus man, man versus nature, conflicts that are internal, conflicts that are external, and it just breaks it down a little bit further so we can see the different kinds of conflicts. We know what conflict is, but it actually goes a little bit deeper. So every time that you read, you are definitely going to be adding to this document. This is an ongoing assignment. You will use all of the notes in here when you go to your groups for your book club meetings. The next thing that I want to make sure that I show you also is the book club reading schedule. On this schedule, you will see at the top, it lists all of the books that were choices. So you simply need to find the book that was assigned to you, and you will know which pages you have to read for which days, right? Since we are just starting today, today is day 1. If you're reading one for the Murphys today, you are responsible for reading pages 1 to 10 and adding any information that you can add in your interactive notebook. For Running Dream, you're reading pages 1 through 14. And Significant Events in the Life of a Cactus, you're reading 1 through 12. Restart, you're reading 1 through 10. And Stella by Starlight, reading 1 through 15. It varies by book because of the length of the book and because we're all trying to finish our books on the same schedule. So again, remember, you're reading the assigned pages and you are adding to your interactive notebook every single time that you read. Tonight's homework is day number 1.